Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of Stash Report from Stash Project. Today is May 4th, 2020. Had enough come out of Japan as they sort of filled out the end of their April to justify having a show this week, despite the fact that now Japan is enjoying themselves one of their several weeks of vacation that they take over there. Not jealous at all. So we have a few things on the domestic side, a few things on the import side as well, obviously. The one kit announcement, two kit announcements, I guess I should say. Overseas, New Hobbies has announced they're going to reissue their Falcon livery BMW M6 GT3 kit. They're adding window masks to it this time, so it looks like a sort of copied version of the Decalcos ones, which included window masks for the inside of the four pieces of window, the two side pieces in the front and rear windscreens, to use a British term. And then there are outside window masks for the two side window pieces because they also have the B-pillar molded into them. So that way you could mask the outside except for the B-pillar and then paint the B-pillar that way. I'm going to guess they're probably going to still include the decals for the inside of the windscreen for the window black areas as well. It remains to be seen where they're going to go with this in terms of if they're going to be doing window masks in all of their kits, if this is a test kit of that sort of not so much theory, but of that principle, whether window masks are something they want to do in the future. Obviously, none of their kits from BMAX or New have ever had window masks in them. They've always had the decals that you place on the inside of the windows to do the window black on the inside. Some people like that. Some people hate that. So it's just an option out there. The Falcon car had sold out, so this is just a scheduled reissue anyway with a little extra tossed in to sweeten the deal, so to speak. The other kit that is announced for release is something that Salvino's JR did, and that is this Blue Max Racing Rusty Wallace car from the 1986 season. It is another one of the 2+2s, so this is the new body that they just released last month with a new livery set involved. They're saying this should ship mid-May, so it should be out by the end of May everywhere. Yeah, so if you're looking for another option for the 2+2, that will be out there with commercial decals, as it were. Another option, I guess, for you folks. Lost my train of thought there. I clicked on the wrong window, and instead of going to my picture files that I'd integrate into the videos, I actually clicked on my messenger, and somebody had said something in my messenger. So anyway, back to what we're actually talking about here, shall we? Yes, we shall. So the domestic kits that are out this week are the May round 2 releases. So they actually shipped these right at the end of April and got them in the stores right at the beginning of May. First up, you have from the AMT folks, the 41 Plymouth Coupe. So this is the same kit it's always been as far as the contents go. You still do all the, all the options, still a 3-in-1 kit, basically. It just adds in the Coca-Cola livery, as well as those 4 little flats of Coke bottles and the little hand truck to move them around with. So no machine in this kit. It is molded in yellow. Take that into consideration. Obviously, if you're building it to the Coca-Cola specifications on the box, you're not really worried about the yellow because the contrasting color is black, and you're not going to have a problem having black cover yellow. For anything else, I know how much you guys love colored plastic, especially when it's yellow. Other kit from round 2 this week, from the NPC side of things, is this. It is the Taco Trike, number 2 of the 6 Trick Trike series. What can you even say here, folks? I mean, this is just another exemplary example of where we were as a country in terms of our drug use in the 1970s. I mean, it really is. This box art makes no sense to me. Aside from the Zeke's Tex-Mex 25-cent tacos, is that an attempt to not be, kind of, sort of culturally insensitive as this would have been originally. Zeke's not exactly a Spanish name, so it's okay. I'm just kind of wondering why this is in front of like an Arizona Pueblo, because that's not Tex or Mex, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. It's very Native American-y background rather than anything to do with Texas or Mexico. So, I mean, hey, whatever floats your trike, I guess. So there's that for people who are looking for those. That'll take us overseas where we have some Fujimi releases, some Hasegawa releases, some Aoshima releases, and heck, there's even a new release in here. So let's do the Fujimi stuff first, since it's sort of two versions of the same kit. First up, we have a straight reissue of this. It is the 1/12 scale Nissan Skyline GTR R32. This kit was reissued last year after not being around for quite a while. It's kind of more of a unassembled, not toy, but unassembled plastic display piece more than it is a model kit. The plastic involved is like ABS plastic. It's not like styrene plastic. There's a lot of screws. There's a lot of metal involved in this as far as the assembly. It doesn't exactly glue together in a traditional sense, but it's a 1/12 scale Skyline. And then going along with that, in a reissue to that, is this kit, which is the one that a lot of people were kind of waiting on because they wanted the racing version back, and so it is 1/12 scale. The Calsonic Skyline GTR from I'm not really sure what season technically this is without looking, as the Calsonic car ran, you know, R32s for 3 or 4 years at the sort of end of Group A's participation in JTCC. But that is back out there. It is molded in blue. Again, it's same deal where it's ABS plastic and a bunch of bolts and screws to hold the whole thing together. So that's back out there for people who are waiting on that. I know we had some friends that were anxiously awaiting that kit to come in. It's been out of production for probably 2 decades now, and you know, it's sort of the ultimate collector piece for Group A GTR fans. And that'll take us over to Hasegawa, which had 2 releases this week, which are both quite interesting and for different reasons. First up, you have this. It is the Lamborghini MIURA P400 Super Veloce detail up version. So this comes with a couple frets of photo etch, and as you sit in here and look at the box art, let me explain to you what basically the photo etch is. Those side strakes that are right behind the windows on the doors are 10 pieces of photo etch that you have to assemble. Basically, there are 2, like a top and a bottom, basically, if you will, that you have to bend into the side shape of the car and then insert all of those little fins into it. It doesn't show it on the actual box art here, but there are the eyelashes that a lot of the MIURAs it came with in the early versions. Those are 28 pieces of photo etch that you have to assemble around the headlights. And then you also have those grill pieces there between the headlights. I can't really say they're necessarily cooling vents, although I think they technically feed the radiator in this car because this is a rear engine car like most Lamborghinis. But those cooling grates there, those are 32 pieces of photo etch a piece. You have a 4-piece frame that hold all of those little slats of PE. So, yeah, not for the faint of heart or the PE adverse, but that's back out there if you want to you know, tackle a little bit of a challenge. And then we also have this release, which is the I don't know. So much is wrong about this box art for this. This is the Cabu Wagon Type 82 with the blonde girl resin figure. You know, there's a sub-discussion within the hobby that a lot of people are Nazi fetish sort of aficionados, if you will. A lot of people who build World War II armor, aircraft, that kind of thing. Sometimes they're a little too into the German side of things. And just they're noticeably too into the German side of things. This can only sort of feed that weirdness because what is going on here? This Cabu Wagon, aside from having the blonde resin girls figure in it, is the like 82nd Light Armor Division in Russia in, I don't know, 42 or 43, something like that. The difference between this kit and the Eggplane Girls kit, aside from the lack of the Eggplant Girl doesn't have a weird Nazi porn fetish thing going on is the fact that that kit is a North Africa Kuba wagon, so it has high float tires. This has the more traditional on-road tires. I would kind of like to trade out my high float tires for this one, but I'm not necessarily sure I'm comfortable owning this. You know, in a sarcastic and somewhat realistic sense. The resin blonde girl is in this pose where she is beckoning you to the Third Reich with her come hither eyes. She is in that pose with her legs crossed and everything, so that's the way she comes. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, it's full detail Kuba wagon, sort of basis of the Volkswagen thing, obviously. It's a really good kit in its own right. So several people have built it here not too terribly long ago in the community. I don't know. Just something weird about that. They could have not dressed it in a Nazi uniform. I think it would have been okay. But hey, historical accuracy, am I right? So there is that. Over at Aoshima, we had a few releases this week. First up, you have the RE Amenia FD3S RX7. This is something that was supposed to come out back in January. It's just getting released now. This is a sort of revised kit. This is not the same REM Mania RX7 that was available previous. There are a couple of new pieces tooled into this, but from what it looks like to me, they are pieces that were tooled actually into the FD3S RX7 that was in the initial D series that they've just combined with other parts that they had laying around from the FD3S RX-7s that they've done in the past, and sort of resorted the boxes and came out with this. So this is out. Curbside kit. It's left-hand or right-hand drive only, and it's a nice. I mean, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. Not enough to go buy one, but it's one of the sort of lesserly offensive tuner RX-7s that exist. Then you have the next in the Japan Taxi series with another NTP10 Japan Taxi, this one called the Checker Cab. Other than the obvious change of the livery to the Yamasan Taxi Corporation, there are about 6 or 7 new parts in it, one of which is that rugby-style taxi light on the front. There's a taxi light for the back. There is like a little bit of different meter tools in here. There's a plastic divider to partition the driver from the passengers. And, you know, there's, like I said, probably about 7, 8 pieces newly tooled to convert it to this taxi specification. And from what I understand, this blue actually has a color name to it. I don't have it written down, so I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but like Japanese taxis are this color blue, so I'm sure Splash or somebody like that could conjure it up for you if you were so interested. And then a reissue of the Lamborghini Diablo GT, and this is in the new supercar series, which is the old supercar series, and so nothing is new to the series. Let's see, the Diablo GT was kit 23 in the last one. It's kit 5 this time around. Nothing at all changed about the kit, just a new box. And then you have this, which is a reissue of the Diablo GT detail up set, now being the sports car or the supercar 05 PE. A nice PE set. You got exhaust tips, some metal strips, the PE itself. Keep in mind, this is a Diablo GT specific PE set. There are some places online that sell it as a generic set for the Diablo, the GT and the GTR, which is the racing version. It is not the racing version. This PE set will not fit the racing version in a lot of places that you would want it to fit in terms of the vents and the brake rotors and things like that. Do not buy this and then, well, complain about it online, because I've seen that happen a couple times, about it not fitting the GTR because it's not designed to. Make sure you know what you're buying, not what the site describes the product as. And then lastly, in this week, we have the new release, which is this, a new kit with basically just new decals. And it is Volvo 240 Turbo. This is the 1986 European Touring Car Championship HOCKENHEIM winner. So this is a sort of repurpose of the decals that Frankie drew up for his Nordica Australian Touring Car Championship car. There are not Australian Touring Car decals in here. You only get the Nordica Hockenheim scheme. Otherwise, the kit is the same kit in terms of the parts content. There's nothing new about it. It's just a new livery released under the new label because we're making the BMAX stuff go away. That's all just a bad memory. It never really happened. And then also you have a release of a PE set for it, which is identical to the other PE set from the BMAX Macau JTCC car. Just now it's in a Platts new hangar. Again, making all the bad BMAX memories go away. So it's a decently nice PE set. You've got an antenna and an air jack and seatbelt material and all the PE, but nothing is any different about it other than the little baggy doohickey mabobber thing that it's in. So anyway, guys, that wraps up this one. We hope you guys had a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on the other side.